Congratulations, you got your wish. Arthur Smith is no longer the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, but could that mean potentially a hoodie is headed down south to Atlanta and the Golden State Warriors are coming to the NFL? We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Some of the other coaching changes in the NFL space and potentially a big coach playing tonight in the national championship, taking his talents back to the NFL inside of that game. You got two quarterback prospects jockeying for NFL draft order supremacy. We got a lot to talk about, not a lot of time to do it. And yes, we will hit on some Justin Fields. Let's get it right now.
Okay, let's get it. Bitch, let's get it. Woo!
Let's get it, baby. Hot takes, trending topics in the fantasy football space today for Monday, January 8th, 2024. We vibing over here, getting ready for a dope national championship game between the Wolverines and the Huskies. But it's Black Monday in the NFL. Dallas Cowboys are NFC East champs, and we got to talk about my Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, I'm from Vegas originally, my hometown Raiders, and what they do with Antonio Pierce. Let's dive right into it. Something very interesting that I saw today that I want to talk about. Oh my goodness, the Golden State Warriors coming to the NFL. Not really, sort of, kind of. Bob Meyers, in a groundbreaking move, the Washington Commanders owner Josh Harris, who has been trying to shake stuff up ever since he got to Washington, is hiring two prominent executives, former Warriors GM Bob Meyers and then former Vikings GM Rick Spielman, to assist his group in searches for a new head coach for the Washington Commanders. So you're looking at what Josh Harris is doing. He is Ron Rivera gone. Let me start with that. Ron Rivera no longer the coach of the Commanders. We kind of knew that was coming. It was trending that way all season. But to bring in somebody like Bob Meyers, who has no sort of ties and connections to the NFL space, he just understands how to build a team, search for talent. He's going to assist Josh Harris and his group in finding a head coach and identifying the people who need to run the football operation for the Washington Commanders. This is a move that's been kind of divided on social media. Some people think it's a joke. How the hell can you do this? Other people think it's a smart move by Harris to bring in somebody who knows how to build a team, build culture, find some stuff. NBA, NFL, very, very different. We know the Golden State Warriors didn't mind paying some of that luxury tax. Not going to be able to get away with that in the NFL. But Rick Spielman, former GM of the Vikings, he was the one responsible for bringing in Justin Jefferson, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're a fan of the Washington Commanders, you should be excited. Not only the fact that they've got the number 2 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft, but you've got an owner that understands his limitation, and he's trying to find people and surround himself with folks who are more experienced and have maybe a better knowledge of building a team, hiring the right individuals. I think this is a cool move. Is it going to work out for Washington in the long run? No idea, but bringing in Rick Spielman, bringing in Bob Meyers, two very successful execs and people that were put in place to build up franchises. I think this is a move that if I were a fan, I would be excited for the fact that it's not Snyder doing the same old thing, expecting different results. You get something new, something fresh, take a different approach. You got to do something inside the NFC East that looks like it's going to be pretty difficult for years to come. I like the move. We'll see how it works out for the Commanders, but so far, I think it's a decent deal for the Commanders. Now let's talk about the coaches who have moved on. They have been fired, let go, relieved of their duties, and we led with this, but y'all are so happy. Everybody is excited that Arthur Smith is gone. Arthur Smith, no longer the coach of the Atlanta Falcons. They went ahead and relieved him of his duties today, and we all pretty much saw this coming. Knew Arthur Smith was probably on the way out, the way that he misused, mismanaged all of their skill position players all season. Bijan Robinson, number 8 overall pick, didn't do a damn thing with him. Kyle Pitts, after his rookie season, nothing from him. Used Jonnu Smith and Drake London. He was not able to realize his potential because they had inconsistent and quite frankly, a terrible quarterback play all season. The Atlanta Falcons should be in the market for a new quarterback. I know a lot of people are very excited. Bring Justin Fields to Atlanta. We want Fields. I'm not so sure. If I'm the Falcons, I'd rather keep my second and or third round pick, use that capital to invest in other positions of need, draft you a young quarterback at the top of the draft, and roll with that. And speaking of Fields, I mean, all the reports that I'm hearing today is it's a no-brainer what the Chicago Bears should do with this young quarterback. Let's take a listen to this clip right here.
To me, I've been saying this throughout the process. I feel like this decision, while it's going to be difficult in the environment in Chicago because of the pressure and the popularity of Justin Fields, if you step back, remove yourself from that and look at it, this is, to me, it's a no-brainer. You are going to trade Justin Fields. You are going to draft a quarterback with that first overall pick. You're going to go from having to pay a quarterback, which in Fields you'd have to pay him $40+ million, to now being able to get one for about $9 or $10 million. Yeah. And that $30 million worth of savings, go help your team. And the draft picks you get for Justin Fields, go help your team. Build around a new quarterback. Reset that clock. That's the smart thing to do.
Basically saying the player that you have in Fields.
From NFL.com, NFL Network, and yes, he is saying it is a no-brainer. The financial resources that you would have to put into Justin Fields with that fifth-year option, it's not worth the product that the Bears have received on the field over the first 3 years of his career. There are going to be a lot of people who are very divided and divisive over Justin Fields. This is going to be a volatile topic. This is going to be a hot topic all the way through March, when I believe they'll probably make a decision on Fields, or they have to make a decision. And you're going to hear a lot of people blame Luke Getsy, blame Matt Eberflus, blame the weapons, blame the O-line, blame everything other than Fields. I think it's a little bit of everything. I don't believe that he had the right infrastructure in place when he first got there, but I also don't think that he did himself any favors consistently as the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. It seems like a foregone conclusion that they are going to draft a new quarterback, whether that be at number 1 overall, 2, or 3, but they are going to reset the financial clock on their quarterback position, move Justin Fields, and draft a rookie. Where does Fields go from here? I have no idea. He already said goodbye during his exit interview to the fans, said that he regrets nothing. He gave Chicago everything that he had. So it feels and sounds like Justin Fields is preparing to be let go by the Chicago Bears. Where he plays next, that's anybody's guess. A lot of people, again, saying the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not so sure on that landing spot just yet. Let's talk about some of the other coaches who were relieved of their duties, or not so much, not so fast. Let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders and Antonio Pierce. You see him holding his hands up. This game was fun to watch, and if you didn't feel the energy from the TV on this game, like, I don't know what planet you were living on. They had ex-Raiders players all over the sideline. They're chanting, AP, AP, AP at the end of the game for Antonio Pierce. Former player, played for the Washington Commanders, played for the New York Football Giants, and my goodness, Pierce was a fierce middle linebacker. But as the head coach, this team took on an entirely new identity. They played completely different. They felt alive, and towards the end, they were still in the playoff hunt, finishing the season at 8-9 on the year. So losing record for the Raiders, but a lot of that, Josh McDaniels was at the helm. Now, right now, all reports are the Raiders are interested in everybody's favorite coach, Jim Harbaugh. And I think that if it were between Jim Harbaugh and Antonio Pierce, Davis is probably taking his boy, Jim Harbaugh, over Antonio Pierce. I think that'd be a massive mistake. It seems like the locker room, the players, the team have rallied around this former player coach, and it's worked wonders in Las Vegas. Aiden O'Connell looks like a competent enough quarterback that potentially they can roll him out there next season, see what they have. Not saying that's the best option. Be awesome if the Raiders could trade up and get one of those stud quarterbacks out of college. But ultimately, this is going to be a very big hire. I think if they hire Jim Harbaugh, I don't know how that's going to play out. You look at these older coaches and you just wonder sometimes, has the game passed some of these cats by? I'm not saying that's Jim Harbaugh. I'm not saying the game has passed him by. All I'm saying is I believe that Antonio Pierce has done enough to warrant him removing that interim tag and being named the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Give it to AP. Let Antonio continue to do this thing. I believe one of the advisors, Fossil, already came out, or Tom Coughlin came out and said he would continue to stay on and help that ownership group, help that front office if Antonio Pierce, the interim tag is dropped and he is named the head coach. This is important. These head coaching hires are so freaking important. Head coach, GM, offensive coordinator, and I'm going to show you why here in a second, but we ain't getting out of here before we talk about the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. The hoodie himself figured he'd either walk away today, step down, resign. Bill Belichick said, hell no, man. I'm still under contract, and I'm open to personnel changes. I'm open to different roles and responsibilities. Do not jettison me from New England just yet. One of the things I believe will not happen is I don't think Robert Kraft is going to fire Bill Belichick. I don't believe that would be the case. He's been there for 24 years. He's won multiple Super Bowls. He's going down as one of the best to ever do it. I also do not believe Bill Belichick is going to retire. He's chasing that record, and he's got a lot of coaching left in him. I believe if Bill were just the head coach and not GM, not scout, not talent evaluator, not draftee decision maker, probably would be very effective. But does Bill Belichick, at his age, having been accomplished as he has been, is he willing to assume a lesser role to just shut up and coach? You know how they tell the players to shut up and play? Is Bill going to be open to somebody telling him, hey, man, you shut up, let me pick the players, you go coach? I don't know about that one. We'll see how that plays out, and there are rumors and speculation. Carolina Panthers, I saw how it worked out with one Alabama quarterback with limited tools. I really don't want to see the same cycle play out with Bryce Young in Carolina. And then the one that just makes me say, no, thank you, damn, I don't want to see it, is Bill Belichick in Atlanta. You thought Arthur Smith was a problem. Good Lord. I guess it depends on his offensive coordinator, but I ain't trying to see Bill Belichick ruin Bijan and Kyle Pitts and Drake London. I just don't, not for me. But we'll see how this thing plays out. I think this is going to be equally as interesting to play out. And Bill marches to the beat of his own drum. He's going to do whatever he wants to do, how he wants to do it. It's going to be very interesting. But let's pull up the tracker and just see what's going on in the head coaching space really quickly. Yes, Arthur Smith gone. We know Ken Dorsey relieved of his duties in November. Joe Brady's been the acting OC. Look at this. Look at the Carolina Panthers mess. If you're not watching this right now, you got Frank Wright gone. General manager Scott Fitterer, whatever you say his last name, gone. Assistant head coach, RB's coach, Deuce Staley, gone. QB coach, Josh McCown, gone. All these guys. Panthers, gone. Just getting rid of every damn body in Carolina, and it's going to be, it's probably going to be a rough stretch for the Carolina Panthers here. The Raiders, we already talked about McDaniel's gone, GM is gone, so they got to replace that. Chargers, remember Brandon Staley? He's gone too. Chargers, Brandon Staley gone, and their general manager need to find that. Wink Martindale resigning from the Giants today, along with some of the other players from the Giants have been relieved of their duties. Matt Canada gone, head coach Ron Rivera, DC Jack Del Rio, and defensive back coach Brent Visselmeyer. He is also gone from the Washington Commanders. We got some players that resigned, all that stuff. Wink Martindale, there it is right here. And let's take a look at the head coach and GM interviews that are upcoming. Carolina Panthers interviewing Todd Monken, Ravens offensive coordinator. Ben Johnson, the current Lions offensive coordinator. It says Panthers, but he's the Lions offensive coordinator. And Brian Callahan, the Bengals defensive coordinator. And then GMs, they got some other guys right there. Mike Greenberg from the Bucs, Alec Hallaby, and then Brandon Brown. You've got the Raiders, no head coaching stuff lined up just yet. Los Angeles Chargers, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Todd Monken, and Steve Wilkes, the 49ers defensive coordinator. Commanders, Ben Johnson, Raheem Morris, Aaron Glenn, the Lions defensive coordinator. Mike McDonald, the Ravens DC, getting some buzz, and then Raheem Morris, the Rams DC being interviewed as a head coach for the Washington Commanders right now. And why this is so important, y'all, so critically important to get the coach right, to get the GM right, to get the OC, the DC right. Check out this data right here. JJ Zacharyson, one of the best in the fantasy football space, posted this today. And for those of y'all who may be driving and can't read while you do it, I'll read the tweet and tell you what I'm looking at. So he posted this tweet. It says, the Ravens saw the best year-over-year improvement in offensive touchdowns per game this season. The Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, ranked last. Here's the entire list. So what you're looking at is a 3-column heat map chart of 2022 touchdowns per game, 2023 touchdowns per game, and then the difference. Very simple, but very, very effective tool to look at right here. And as you look at the bottom of this list, right, Kansas City Chiefs, 3.47 touchdowns per game in 2022, dropped down to 2.18, minus 1.29 touchdown difference from 2022 to 2023, dead last in the NFL. After that, your bottom 5, the Cincinnati Bengals, the New York Giants, the Carolina Panthers, the Minnesota Vikings, but right after that, you got Philly, right? The Los Angeles Chargers a few spots after that. Buffalo Bills a few spots after that, right in the middle. Now, at the top of this list, the teams that scored more touchdowns in 2023 per game than they did in 2022, number one, the Baltimore Ravens. 3.12 touchdowns per game opposed to 1.49, plus 1.18 touchdown differential between the seasons. The Miami Dolphins, the LA Rams, the Indianapolis Colts at number 4, the Houston Texans at number 5. So you look at this list, and at the top of the list, got new OC Todd Monken in Baltimore, new head coach and phenomenal OC in Shane Steichen with the Indianapolis Colts. And then you have Houston Texans first-year head coach DeMeco Ryans with Bobby Slowick, the fantastic offensive coordinator that followed DeMeco from San Francisco. Now, is there any kind of correlation here? You got the Washington Commanders inside the top 10. Washington, 1.94 touchdowns per game in 2022, 2.24 in 2023. It directly coincides with Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy being there, Washington being one of the more improved offenses in the NFL, opposed to Kansas City being the worst offense from touchdowns per game in 22 to 23. There's direct correlation here. You must find the right guys to fit the right spots for your team. The Philadelphia Eagles are experiencing this right now. Last season, 3.35 touchdowns per game, minus 6.5. So over a half a touchdown a game, they've lost, losing offensive coordinator Shane Steichen to the Indianapolis Colts. And that correlation coincides with the Colts having almost one touchdown per game increase in 2023. It is so important, and it's one of the things in fantasy football we don't pay attention to enough, or if we do, we say it very casually, very haphazardly, without quantifiable data to back why these situations should be viewed as positive situations or negative. It's my goal this year to dive into some more team, scheme, coaching fit data to really see and track how these offensive coordinators impact situations. Because if we've got stuff like this that we can rely on, some data that shows this offensive coordinator paired with this quarterback could yield plus fantasy results, I want to add that to my arsenal, to my tool chest. I've got to do that. So this is a really cool thing that JJ tweeted out. Going to take it a step further, really look at some personnel groupings. But this is why this period that we're in right now, it ain't just about firing, right? You must hire the right guy. And damn it, Atlanta, please do not hire Bill Belichick to come in and run that program. Please do not do that. We cannot waste another year of Bijan, Pitts, and London. I appreciate everybody dropping by for this episode of Hot Takes and Trending Topics in the fantasy football world today. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, like the content. Check out the video from today that we posted on the Wake Up with Ray G show. Me and Jay Rich talked through some NFL stuff, posted a top 15 mock using PFF's mock draft simulator. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what the fantasy world is yapping about. Let's hear our music and vibe out one time, baby. Let's go.
I was blind, but now I can.